In this video, we're going to complete the process of designing a timber frame using SketchUp. In part 1 of the video, we got you to the point where you've completed the design of one full bent for a timber frame. It consists of 2 posts, a girt, and 2 knee braces along with a king post. I taught you to use components, showed you how to work with copies of components, and to make extensive use of hotkeys to work efficiently using SketchUp. From here, we'll complete the process of designing the frame. The first thing I'm going to do is use drag select. If I drag to the left, I select anything that even partially overlaps the box. Again, we're going to move with copies. So I'm going to I press the M key on the keyboard, hold the control key. I'm making a point of grabbing the post at the midpoint of the bottom because I want to slide along until I find the midpoint of the slab, which I've just found, and you can see that's 7 feet 9 inches from where I started my drag. Click there. To make extra copies, I can type 2x on the keyboard and I will get 2 copies of the bent I just dragged here. And you'll notice that it worked out because I dragged from the midpoint of the post to the midpoint of the slab, made 2 copies. We have the full 16 feet between the 3 bents. Now, like when we copied the post, we want to be able to flip the direction of things because these knee braces should be on the outside of the frame, on the back of the frame. So again, in select mode, drag select to the left, right click, flip along the component's green direction, and that makes it so that the knee braces are on the outside face of the building where we want them. Now, an interesting quirk of how the tenons work on these knee braces, these are 3-inch wide knee braces that we want centered on a 6-inch post. If I flip these along the component's green direction and then move them, if I simply flip the knee braces, they end up centered on the post without the need to make any changes to the design of my center post. So there we've got our 3 bent sections all lined up the way they should be in the frame just by working with copies of the components we already had in place. From there, use my T for tape measure to get reference lines again. Double click to get a reference line here. I want a reference line that is 6 inches up from the top of the shoulder of the posts. R to draw a rectangle. And what I'm doing here is we are using 6x6 timbers for the plates. Again, P hotkey to push pull to the far end of the frame. And actually I want to pull these plates overhang the bents by 4 inches on each end. So I'll pull 4 inches in this direction. Flip around. Whoops. And double click to pull the other end 4 inches. And again, I want to make a component. So spacebar to go into select mode, triple click, right click, make component. And this is a plate. I want to create copies of this plate. Actually, before I do that, let me use my B for paint bucket to again give it that nice pine appearance. M to move. M, pick where the plate meets the post shoulder to create a copy here, and repeat the process again for the plate on the other wall. So there's our 3 plates made. Next, we want to cut some mortises in the plates to accommodate the tenons on the top of the posts. So again, R for rectangle. I can use the fact that I can see the back edges to draw between here and here. P for push pull to create a 4-inch deep tenon. And then I'm going to repeat the process for the other 2 post tenons. R for rectangle from this point to this point. P, double click to repeat the last push pull of 4 inches. Move over to the last post. Again, R for rectangle between this point and this point. P, double click. And we have 3 mortises in each of our plates. Because they're copies, if I pull it up temporarily, you can see we have the mortises in all of the plates. So now let's create a copy of our knee brace for where the knee brace goes from the post to our plate. M, we'll hold the control key to create a copy. And the next thing I want to do is I want to rotate this 90 degrees. This is the one thing I don't know a hotkey for. I've got this little rotate object. I'm going to pick so I'm aligned with the bottom face of the knee brace and rotate 90 degrees. Okay. Now, if I want this knee brace for the right orientation for this outside face, I actually need to flip it. Right click, flip along, components red. Nope, that was the wrong direction. Right click, flip along, components green. There we go, that's got it oriented the way I want it. And if I move that so it's on this edge of this post and then pull it up so it lines up with the plate, that gets the knee brace oriented correctly. Next I want to cut a mortise in this post, rectangle between this point and this point. P to push pull, 3 inches deep. We've cut a mortise in the corner post, which you notice because of the way we've flipped and copied things, I've got a mortise in all 6 corner posts the way I want. So now let's make a copy of this knee brace. I'm going to take this knee brace and make a copy and move it from this post to that post, and then from this post to that post. This one I need to flip, right click, flip along, components red, and then you gotta just move it so it lines up. Oh, I didn't get it quite positioned right. Move this point to that point. There we go. So now I've got knee braces in 3 locations. Now for the center post, I want a knee brace on this side. So obviously I'm going to want to take this. Actually, the easiest way is to actually take this, make a copy, move it from this post to that post. And I'm going to want to cut a mortise in this post for where that knee brace enters. However, if I cut a mortise in this post, I'll get one in all of the other posts. So what I want to do is take this post and say I want to make it unique, so that if I make an operation on this post, and again what I want to do is edit it, rectangle to draw between here and here, push pull 3 inches deep, right? So now there's a mortise in this post. Now I actually want this post to be the same as this post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the one that was a copy of the other 4 corner posts, and I'm going to take this post and move it, hold the control key, pick from here to here, and again I need to flip along components red direction, and there you go. Now our 2 center posts have what amounts to actually a through mortise. And if I want, you can see some lines inside, which in the real part wouldn't be visible because we would have cut the mortise all the way through, and we would have had a true through. So I'll just get rid of these little construction lines, just make it look a little bit more like real world. All right, so there are the mortises cut in all of the posts. I want to make copies of these 4 knee braces. M, move control key from that post to that post, and then I want to flip along, I think it's the green direction, and then move them, no, wrong way, flip along red direction. There we go. Now we've got all of those knee braces lined up so that they match the mortises and are flush with the outside of the building. We haven't cut the mortises in the plates yet, so actually I'm going to edit this plate, and I'm going to draw a rectangle between this point and this point, push pull to go not 4 inches, 3 inches deep. And you notice that happens on all 3 of our plates. To be most efficient, what I want to do now is do the one on this end, rectangle between this point and this point, P to push pull, double click to repeat the 3-inch mortise, and now we've got 2 mortises at either end of all 3 plates. Now what I want to do is I will actually have knee braces only on M to move, hold the control key, move them onto this post, and then move them down till they line up with the top plate. And actually what I want to do is take those 2 knee braces and flip them along. I forget which direction. Is it green? Move them from here. Whoops. I don't have any move them. I don't have a reference line on the king post yet. I do on the top plate. So there you go. Now we've got those. Oh, they're oriented wrong. So obviously it was flip along red direction. There we go. Now we've got the mortises, sorry, rather we've got the knee braces centered on the posts. And they look good. Okay, however, I want to take this one, right click and say make unique, because now I want to cut mortises in for these knee braces, and there aren't equivalent knee braces in the top king post. There's only knee braces on the end of the top plate. So rectangle from here to here, P to push pull, 3 inches deep. Oh, I made a mistake. I was not in edit mode on that plate before making those operations. I need to be in edit mode. Here, rectangle from here to here, P to push pull, go 3 inches deep, and then repeat for this knee brace. Rectangle from here to here, P, double click, 3-inch mortise. All right. Oops, I undid the make unique operation on the top plate. We'll right click, make unique. It's an easy fix to do after the fact. Edit it. Simply pick all these things and delete them. And notice that SketchUp automatically cleans up the hole in the face. There we go. Now that top plate is unique with just the mortises on the ends. That completes the major framing members. Mortises, tenons, knee braces, posts, skirts, plates, all are done. But before we move on to our rafters, let's take a look at our basic drawing dimensions again. The top of the wall plates are 8 feet 4 inches from the slab, and the top of the ridge plate is 13 feet 1 inch from the slab. So back in SketchUp, let's check some of those reference dimensions. I'm going to insert a couple of reference lines just to make my life easier, and tape measure from the slab to the top of the plates is currently 8 feet 6 inches. And I needed it to be 8 feet 4 inches. So what I want to do is I want to take everything and move it down 2 inches. Now all my posts are now sticking into the slab. I can fix that by pulling them back up so that they're lined up at the top of the slab. That one operation gets these 4 posts, and this operation gets these 2 posts, and there we go. Now the top of the wall plates are 8 feet 4 inches, and the top of the, they measure between here and this point, we're 12 feet 2 inches, so I need to come up 11 inches on those members. So again, we're gonna pick all these things. We're gonna move up in the blue direction 11 inches. And then I'm going to take the king posts and move just these ends back down. So there we go. Now if I double check this, tape measure between the slab and this point here, 13 feet 1 inch as per design. Okay, so with that done, let's clean up and delete guides. Now might be a good time to start organizing things onto layers. So far, everything we've been creating has been on the default layer 0, but we can pick components and add them to a layer. Actually, first we need to create layers, so let's add a layer. Let's call this the plates. And then if we pick these 3 parts, we can say let's move those onto layer plates. And now what you can do is you can turn on and off things individually. So there's the plates. Let's add a layer called posts, and that would include all of these. Move to layer posts. All right, then we got, well, let's add a layer called girts. And that would include these three girts, which we can turn off. Add a layer called the foundation. And we can put this there. And then what we're left with is a whole bunch of knee braces. So let's create a layer called knee braces and put all of these on that layer. Boom. So now you can control the visibility of everything individually, which is convenient because it can keep your screen cleaner. Like, let's leave all the knee braces off now while we design our rafters. All right, so the rafters are made up of 3x6 material. I'm going to draw some reference lines along the ends of the upper plate. And then I want one that is in the vertical direction, that's the blue direction, 6 inches up. And then I want in the red direction 8 feet. And I'm going to draw a rectangle to have an 8-foot by 6-inch member, which if I push pull 3 inches, it becomes a 3x6 by 8 foot. 1, 2, 3, make a component, and this is a rafter. And what I want to do now, I want to again use the paint bucket to give it that nice pine color. We're going to use the rotate tool centered on the end of the rafter at the center of the plate and turn it so that it lines up, that edge lines up with the center of the wall plate. Okay, next what we're going to do is edit this rafter, use our tape measure to get a reference line parallel to this edge. I'm going to take this, pick this edge, move it so that we're up centered at the peak now. And next we want to cut the bird's mouth on the rafter, so that's just a simple line between here and here and here. Push pull to remove that material. And we've got a bird's mouth where the rafter meets the wall plate as well. Line between here and here. Push pull P, double click to repeat the last operation. There's a rafter, quick and easy. Now the rafters are actually M to move, pushed back from the ends of the plates by 2.5 inches. And then we're going to make a similar move operation, holding the control key to make a copy, moving in the green direction, 24 inches, 8 times, type 8X on the keyboard for 9 rafters. Now we're going to make a copy of all of these, so drag in the left to right direction to select all of them. M to make a copy. Flip along the red direction and then complete the move to match up at the peak. So there's all our rafters. Now I neglected to put them on a layer, so let's add a layer called rafters. And then take all of these and move them onto rafters. So now the rafters can be turned on and off independently. Now the final detail for this frame is a series of floor joists that make a loft area in one half of the frame. And those actually start, if we draw a reference line, they start 2.5 inches from the edge of the frame, and they're made up of a series of 3x6 members, a reference line 3 inches in that direction, 6 inches in this direction, and maybe a vertical line here. I can now draw a rectangle between here and here, representing the 3x6 rafter. I can pull it from one girt to the other. 1, 2, 3 clicks, right click, make component, and this is a floor joist. B, paint bucket, give it that nice pine color. And actually the floor joists are notched into 1-inch deep pockets in the girts. So what I'm going to do is edit this and pull it 1 inch in this direction, and similarly at the other end pull it in 1 inch. Okay, and actually what I want to do is edit. Let's take this one rafter, M, hold the control key, move in the red direction. There are 20-inch on centers, and there are 8 of them, so 7x to make 7 copies. Oops, I didn't need 7 copies. I only needed 5x, 5 copies. And double check that I'm also 2.5 inches between here and here on this end. Yep, so they're all lined up right. Okay, next we want to cut the pockets for where the rafters are inset into the girt. First, what I want to do though is take this girt and make it unique, so that I'm editing just it, and then edit that girt. I can draw a rectangle between here and here and push that down until it forms a pocket for the joist. And then I'm going to repeat that a number of times. I'm sure there's a way I could do this with copy operation, but it's actually fast enough to do it just manually. I'll draw a series of rectangles here and here, here and here. This is a case where I might want to get rid of those back edges, so I hit the K key so I'm only getting stuff that I can see in the foreground. Push pull, double click for each pocket to repeat the last pull operation. And if I pull this aside for the moment, or sort of just move it aside for the moment, you can see that our girt has a whole bunch of pockets in it. Undo that, move operation. I'm going to delete this girt, and I want to replace it with a copy of this one. So move, hold the control key from there to there, right click, flip along the green direction, and now I've got matching girt with pockets on this side. And the last step is I want to add a layer for the joists, and I'm going to take all of these and put them on the layer joists so that they can be turned on and off independently to make life easier. And let's turn our rafters back on, and we've got a lot of guidelines here. Let's clean things up. Edit, delete guides. That completes the full design of our timber frame. Now obviously I haven't included the details yet of all of the holes drilled and the pegs. Turn our knee braces on so we can really see the full effect. There's our final timber frame. Final piece is of course to save our work. File, save as, and we're done. If you'd like to see the frame come to life in the real world, I have links to a couple of videos you might like to see here. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.